Stage 5 of the Prutour ended tragically with the death of escorting police officer Dave Hopkins. Flags at the intended Cardiff finish flew at half-mast. Racing resumes in Bristol, but not before the event remembers an officer who died on the route of the Tour. Before the restart, the overall situation shows the Australian Stuart O'Grady with a 21 seconds lead over his friend and teammate Chris Boardman. He is closely shadowed by Baranowski of Poland, Hincapie of America and Neil Stevens of Australia. And the race now restarts at Bristol's College Green. Well, Stuart O'Grady certainly looks a solid leader, but will he win the Tour? Paul Showin asked the opinion of some of the riders.
Yaroslav Ekimov, just one word answer.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the Prutour?
Good question. I don't know.
Sean Yates, who's going to win the Prutour?
Stuart O'Grady.
Who's going to win the Prutour?
I am.
Oh, so one word answer.
One word. Me.
Who's going to win the Prutour?
Stuart O'Grady will win the Prutour. That's my prediction.
It's going to be a close race, but I think Stuart O'Grady.
Well, the way form's been going lately, Stuart O'Grady.
Who do you think's going to win the Prutour?
Stuart O'Grady, assisted by the lads.
Stuart O'Grady's dad. Who do you think's going to win the Prutour?
Stuart O'Grady.
Stuart, we've been asking a few of the boys around the start area this morning, and they all say Stuart O'Grady's going to win the Tour. Who do you think will win?
Well, sounds pretty good to me. I've got no complaints there, but yeah, another day closer, and you know, there's still a few kilometres to pass and a few little climbs to get over, and anything can happen in bike racing, but so far everything's been going pretty well with the game plan, and hopefully we'll take it all the way.
One man I spoke to, a very special supporter of yours, your dad, and the only thing he could say was Stewie's going to win.
Oh yeah, I mean, a bit of bias support there, but yeah, Dad's come a long way, and it's his first time to see me racing in Europe, so far it's been a pretty good week for him. So yeah, I'd love to win with my dad here, it'd be great.
It certainly would be. Well, stage 6, 147 kilometres, taking the rides away from Bristol now and heading on towards Reading. The West Country bathed in sunshine as they now take an undulating route from the west going east. And in the field this morning, 87 riders still surviving, but one big shock at the start. George Hincapie lying 4th overall, withdrawn by his US Postal team. Next week starts a big series of races in America, and Hincapie already on the way to the airport. The temperature, Paul, is a cool 19 degrees.
Excellent racing conditions, though, with a crosswind which could cause problems later in the afternoon. But at 9 kilometres, the first incident when Nicky Sorensen was involved in a crash and a flat tyre, his teammate coming back to help him out.
A very fast start to the race indeed as they made their way along the A4. At 12 kilometres covered, they were on the first climb of the day, Tog Hill. This was a good battle here as some of the British boys tried to get themselves back in the picture. Julian Wynne, the winner at Nottingham, was first over the climb, and right behind him there, Great Britain's Paul Manning. Laurent Lefebvre of Festina and France was third.
49 kilometres covered and the Chair Hill sprint, and you can see just exactly what was going on here because Stewie O'Grady was still looking for bonus points, led out by his big teammate Magnus Backstead. He comes through very easily on the inside to take a maximum 3 seconds bonus for him.
And his fellow Aussie Neil Stevens was second, at 2 seconds bonus there. Magnus Backstead was third. At 65 kilometres, the town of Marlborough was shut down for the arrival of the Prutour. Magnus Backstead leading out again at the red jersey of Stuart O'Grady. Once he saw nobody would trouble him, he moved across and allowed O'Grady to take another 3 seconds time bonus. He's now increased his lead by 6 seconds overall in the race. And this is how you lead out your race leader. And Backstead moves across, making sure nobody else is creeping up, and allows O'Grady to get the big slice of the time bonus. Third place rider, Tyler Hamilton. He got a single second.
66 kilometres covered and the riders now on the slopes of Forest Hill, and once again the King of the Mountains leader Jonathan Vaughters come to the front and again challenged by Julian Wynne.
Inspired by his victory 2 days ago, Julian Wynne was now mixing it with the best. First over the top of Forest Hill, chased over by Chris Walker and the King of the Mountains leader Jonathan Vaughters. So the race continued through beautiful countryside, beautiful weather, great racing. Simon O'Brien was out and about to see if the public agrees.
What do you think of that then?
Brilliant. It's great to have it coming through local towns. I think it's absolutely super. It's about time we had this. I really enjoyed it.
So there you go, your first live cycle race. What do you think of that?
Absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything. It's just a shame it went through so fast. I just couldn't believe it, could you? It was absolutely well worth coming up to see.
I didn't realise it'd be in such a big club altogether. I thought they'd be a bit more spread out, and it was just like, you waited such a long time and then they all just gone in a second. It was just unbelievable.
It's a hell of a sight though, isn't it?
It is completely, yeah, unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that before.
What did you think of that then?
Excellent. Brilliant. Brilliant. Excellent. Brilliant.
Enough said. One moment, you're standing peacefully in the countryside, and suddenly, it's upon you. The power and the colour of the peloton is an unforgettable sight, so if the Prutour is anywhere near you, as we make our way to London, then make sure you catch it. You will never forget what you see.
That's true, Simon, but don't blink because you might miss it. The race is really going very, very quickly today. We're now climbing high onto the Lambourn Down. It is beautiful. The weather is really sensational now. See the shadows of the riders, Paul, but there is a crosswind blowing, and that may be why there are riders now in difficulty at the back of the race.
A lot of acceleration, a lot of power at the front of this main field, and it's all come from the Gann team because they've put on all they wanted to do today. They've put all their 6 men at the front, and the man leading them, the team manager on the road, Roger Leger, very happy with the way his team have performed here at the Prutour.
And well, he might be, because he's on course to get the team's first big stage race victory of the 1998 season. And with the top 2 names on the classification, he must be happy. And right now, all of his team are driving this race along, led by the new German signing, Jens Voigt, who's also wearing that jersey as the leader of the ISO Star Sprint competition.
Seriously, Phil, at the back of this race, the crosswind's causing a lot of riders difficulties today. Everybody's trying to scramble up to the first 20 or 30 positions because that's where it's the safest place to be. That's where you keep out of danger, and that is why all of the Gann riders are so close to the front, keeping the speed high to make sure that there are no surprise attacks, because they're very worried, I think, about the performance of Dariusz Boronowski, riding for the US Postal Service team, a very strong rider, and he will certainly be looking for a chance to slip away in the closing kilometres.
Well, this speed they've set today, Paul, has taken out 3 more riders, reducing the field to 84, and the complete Dutch amateur team are now out of the Tour today, so there's no more Dutchmen left in the race at all.
The rider on the front here is Marcel Gono, the man from Australia, new signing to the Gann team, but you can just see at the back how difficult it is. A long line of riders here trying to find some shelter out of these crosswinds, and all wishing that they could be at the front. But look at that, that's an incredible sight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders on the first 6 places, all from the Gann team.
And the strong team opposing them, the US Postal team, now without George Hincapie. And they will find it very difficult now over the remaining stages to attack the boys in white. They're keeping a nice tempo going. The pack is getting smaller and smaller here. This is a long, long climb of Lambourn Down. It's very steady, but because of the wind and the exposed roads here, the riders at the back are having a tough day.
They certainly are, but it's amazing to see the work that's been done over the last few days by the man on the front, Eros Poli. Jens Voigt has been a real trooper because he's been in the breakaway on several occasions, and still he comes to the front to do an awful lot of work. Added to that, Eros Poli, the very tall Italian rider who wears number 6, and you really have got a strong squad.
There's a good look at the boy in green, Magnus Backstedt. A real find this year for Gann. He had a tremendous ride in the Paris-Roubaix classic race in France in April, and he certainly has been a powerhouse here as well. Steady progress now as they make their way towards the summit of Lambourn Down, which will take us up to around 98 kilometres covered, and leaving just on 50 kilometres to go to the line. As they go over the top there, this time it was Chris Walker who took the award, second on the previous climb, and it looked like Jonathan Waters in second place, and it was. Well, that stitched up the King of the Mountains competition. We can toast our first winner. Jonathan Waters is the man who wins that. We'll take a break. And And welcome back to the Prutour. The riders on stage 6 from Bristol, bound now for Reading. The crosswinds have basically kept the whole race together today, but the pressure nonetheless has been on all day. 109 kilometres now, the race sprinting towards Wantage, and Stuart O'Grady in the red jersey again using his teammate Magnus Backstedt for the perfect lead out. All 3 sprints today going to Stuart O'Grady, Paul, a total of 9 seconds in time bonus. Backstedt gets second, and Chris Newton of Team Bright Voice slipping in there for third. 30 points for Jens Voigt, 28 now for Stuart O'Grady. That competition too could be O'Grady's in the next day or so.
Certainly could. 10 kilometres remaining with the whole field together, heading for Sulham Hill. And you can see Roger Leger was very happy with the performance of his team this afternoon, and he moved up alongside to have a quick chat to them.
Yeah. Everything is going well. You have the situation on the hand?
I think we have it under control.
Okay.
Last climb.
Magnus, your knee? Fine. See you later.
We forgot to add in the bar, I suspect, but anyway, the GAN team are controlling this race now with the mauve colours of Jens Voigt on the front. Only 2 points separating Jens Voigt and his teammate Stuart O'Grady from that mauve jersey now. No more sprints today. And we're now on to that last climb of Sulham Hill. None of the climbs have been long today, but they have been rather sharp, and a lot of riders putting on pressure here, Paul, from Festina, and we're close to the finish.
Certainly are. This is an ideal launch pad to try and jump away to try and get a stage victory. But you can see Jonathan Waters there in the polka dot jersey at the front. He's a very good climber. He'll be looking to try and stay near the head of affairs. Moving up into third place, Neil Stevens. But you can see at the end of a very hard day just how difficult it is to get over a climb like this.
Well, a lot of the riders at the back of the field here are in great difficulty now, and it's all because of this pressure being applied by the stars. Names we could be talking about in the Tour de France in just 5 weeks' time. Men like Neil Stevens now stamping on those pedals. He's trying to force a little group away here, and this is the perfect place for a springboard before you drop down to Reading through what is a very difficult, tortuous route.
It certainly is. I spoke to Neil Stevens this morning. He said, I'd really like to get up into third place before the end, and the man who is currently in third place in the overall standings is lying third on the road. Darius Baranowski, obviously not going to get caught out by that attack by Neil Stevens, and the red jersey of Stuart O'Grady very attentive. There's a confirmation over the top of the climb. Stevens goes first, O'Grady second, and Baranowski in third.
And overall, Jonathan Waters with a 26 points lead as this day comes to an end means he has won that King of the Mountains competition.
But in fact, Phil, the pressure there over the top has forced the group to go clear, while behind a lot of riders still struggling to get over this final climb, and then it's just 7 kilometres to the go to the finish.
It has been one hill too far. Number 81 there, Justin Clark of the England team, now falling back like a lot of riders here. And I think the pressure now is taking care of approximately half of the 84 starters here as the top riders apply the pressure at the front.
Chris Boardman at the front here, he's seen the gap that they've got over the rest of the main field, and he now feels, I think, that Stuart O'Grady has got a good crack at the stage victory. O'Grady sitting in about 7th or 8th position there, and I would think that around about 12 riders going clear here. As we come around this corner, they'll see the sign showing them 5 kilometres remain.
Oh, a bit of a tight fit. It's a very sharp left-hander, that one. But they've all come round it safely. Chris Boardman are bringing them round. We know that Stuart O'Grady is in this little split because he's got the red jersey on. Also, we know Chris Boardman's here. Neil Stevens I spotted, and I think too, Paul, Darius Baranowski. So the top men in the classification have all been paying attention.
They're all there. This is the chase group behind the pink-purple jersey. Sitting on the back of that group is Jens Voigt. He won't do anything at all to try and pull the race back together because he's been working very hard all day for his team leader, Chris Boardman. And you can see just how tricky that corner was there. The gap between these two groups at the moment, around about 18 seconds.
Well, this is an interesting move now. It's been one of pure strength. The riders riding hard all day with nobody getting clear. And then on the final climb, they really did put the pressure on. And we're bound now for Reading and the big finish down there. Let's go to Simon O'Brien.
It's been Stuart O'Grady's day, but now it's time for the big sprint finish. Has he still got it left in him? We'll find out.
We most certainly will, Simon. And this little group, well, I think they've made the move that will find the winner from here, Paul.
They certainly have. You can see the green jersey of Magnus Backstedt there, always at the front, keeping the pressure on, trying to make sure that they stay away. Looking a little bit further down the road there, you could just get a glimpse of the chasing group and a lot of riders in there trying to pull it back. The big losers, though, this afternoon, the Big Matt Aubert team at the front with the Mobile Vetta team from Italy, trying to pull it all back together, but at this speed, I don't think they're going to do it.
And that's Ludovic Auger who's on the front. He's had 1 third place on the stages so far in this Prutour. We are now 2 kilometres to go from the finish. It's a twist and a turn approach down to the finishing line here in Reading. It is perfect for an escape because I don't think the sprinters are going to find this much to their liking.
They certainly won't. A little attack there by Darius Baranovsky, just trying to pull himself away from the riders. Boardman now moving to the front to keep the speed high, keep it together for the man in the red jersey, Stuart O'Grady.
Well, O'Grady's won all the sprints that matter so far today, picking up a total of 9 seconds, and the stage win carries another 10 seconds bonus, and I think that really would stitch up the race in favour of the Australian. But if he's going to go, he's going to have to go with Vyacheslav Ekimov. Ekimov has made a move. Paul, we've seen him do this, a man who has ridden something like 8 Tours de France. He won a stage this way back in Macon in 1991.
A very fast man when he comes out of a bunch in the last 1.5 kilometres. You have to react immediately. There's no organisation there. The man on the front trying to stir them up is Neil Stevens, but Ekimov immediately attacks, has got 5 or 6 seconds advantage over the rest.
So the champion of Russia is taking his chance. He's not a great sprinter. He's got to do it this way, but he's got so much strength. At one stage in his career as an amateur, a member of the Soviet Union's Red Guard, he held 11 world records for pursuiting and straight-out racing against the clock.
A very difficult point to attack. I don't think very many of the riders expected this in the final 1.5 kilometres, because on the profile it looks as if it drops down all the way to the finish. But Vyacheslav Ekimov does have around about 10 seconds over the rest, and the chasing group, the impetus really going out of it.
Allowed him to go. We saw Chris Newton just slip through our picture. He's ridden so well in this race. There he is in the white Bright Boys jersey. He has ridden extremely well. This is Maurizio Tomi of Italy as well. Now, as we head down towards the finish, they are trying to get up there, but I don't think they're going to do it. That's the chase group. This is the leader now on the road, and Ekimov looking over his shoulder, and he may have 10 or 12 seconds, and that surely is enough.
The only thing you can do now is really give everything you've got in those legs going down to the final kilometre. He'll be looking for that banner. That will be the thing he wants to see on the horizon. But behind, you can be sure that Magnus Backstedt, the big Swedish rider on the GAN team, will try to nail him back. He'll try and pull it all back together, because Stuart O'Grady, if it comes down to the sprint, Phil, I think is unbeatable this afternoon.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and Ekimov would certainly agree with you, and that's why he's done this. It is his speciality to try and ride the race off his back wheel in the last kilometre. We've seen him try to do it in races all over the world, and now it looks like he may have done it again. Andrea Paluan of Mobile Vetta is trying to whip up some reaction here, but I don't think he's getting any helpers, as still Ekimov heads down towards Reading now and the finish. He is absolutely flying, 56 kilometres an hour.
He certainly is. This man knows how to ride alone. There's the kilometre banner that he was looking for. 1 kilometre remaining, around about 1 minute and 10 seconds of effort, and now he will pick his speed up. It's slightly downhill. He'll be touching 60 kilometres an hour at this part of the course, and all he needs is 5 or 6 seconds advantage, and nobody's going to pull back this man from Russia.
Well, there's around 40 bike riders now spread over half a minute and being led by one man on his own here. Chris Walker now also putting in a strong effort as well, but I think they may have left this one all too late today.
Well, their gap over the group of riders containing Stuart O'Grady is around about 25 seconds, but the man with the biggest advantage is Vyacheslav Ekimov, coming into one of the final roundabouts here. You can see him taking a lot of risks there, Phil, hardly touching his brakes at all as he comes into the final finishing straight.
So he'll just go around the corner we just got a glimpse of in the distance, and he'll be in the last 500 metres of the stage today. They are coming back on him, you know, and this is a very long finishing straight. Ekimov, who had a nasty crash in the Dunkirk 4-day in France a few weeks ago, his shoulder is still very sore, and in the mountains, in fact, he still has a lot of pain when he tries to pull on the handlebars. Nobody expected him to pull this win off at all, and this is a man who will never give up trying. He makes sure they are coming so quickly now. They're going to be right on him, but it's all too late. Ekimov gets the sprint, and that's what it was. O'Grady was the man who came in behind him, and Andrei Korb of Festina was in the prize list yet again. But a great, great win for Vyacheslav Ekimov, the national champion of Russia and a member of the United States Postal Service. And this is the sprint now from the main field. 3 Australians coming through, led by David McKenzie, followed by Jamie Drew and Tristan Freem. They take the next 3 places of the rest.
Jamie Drew to Australia, bring them in.
And this is how he did it. He chose his moment perfectly, coming from deep down at the back end of the breakaway group, run them close and then swung wide just to stop them following, and then Ekimov was on his own. And I think he took advantage here of the infighting between the Gan riders and the Festina riders. They were looking for the stage win, and they didn't count on Ekimov. He got to the line by just about a second ahead of Stuart O'Grady, who certainly came home at a rush. There's the stage result. Ekimov getting just a 1-second margin over Stuart O'Grady. Andrei Korf, will he ever win? In there this time, 3rd.
The team have ridden very well in this race, and you eventually have come to form after a very difficult crash just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm still surviving after that crash and still coming back. But okay, so today I get luck, big luck.
It's difficult to get away from the main field, especially with the control from the GAN team at the front, but you're a specialist at that kind of attack, aren't you?
Yeah, you know, like I said it before, I always try when I see the chance, like 95%. So I calculate Festina guys and GAN guys, they're probably gonna miss, you know, and they missed up, and I took a chance with it, and I've got a gap. If I take a gap like 200 meters, it's probably difficult to catch coming back.
But it was a great day for Stuart O'Grady as well. He was now leading by 36 seconds over Chris Boorman, 48 over Darius Brownowski, and almost a minute ahead of Neil Stevens of Festina. Further down the list, well, Jens Voigt is still in the action. He's 21st. Andrei Korf, the sprinter, hangs on at 20th place. Ekimov, 13th, but still looking for more than 3 minutes. Stuart O'Grady has great reason to smile now, just a weekend to come, and then he should run out the winner of his first ever stage race in a sparkling career. O'Grady now has the lead in 2 competitions, the red and the points. He's only 2 points off the mauve jersey of the sprint. Can he get that too? So on the day that George Hincapie is recalled to the United States, his teammate Vyacheslav Ekimov gets the team's first win in Europe this year. But O'Grady now really does look a tough nut to beat, doesn't he? Well, 2 stages to go, and next up we will leave the Chessington World of Adventures. We go around the southeast undulations. The finish will be in Rochester on Medway. Until the next time, goodbye.